Hello, buyers, sellers, renters, friends, family. Welcome to my YouTube channel. As you can see, I have a little bit of new additions to my desk. I have my son's game ball from baseball, T-ball. He got the game ball last week and he wanted me to represent his efforts in baseball, so I have that. Also, I added this picture of my daughter who swam in state this year. And again, awesome kid, qualified for state. She finished 6th in state for breaststroke. So she is really awesome and amazing. So I'm just happy to share that. I just wanted to share that with you. Today I want to talk about tips to win a bidding war in real estate. We know the market's hot. We know it's been hot for a while. So how do we win in a bidding war? So first and foremost, you got to have an awesome, amazing buyer's agent. First, when you have that buyer's agent working for you, number one, if you do find a house that you guys like, you need to have a good conversation with the listing agent, finding out what the seller is looking for. I mean, sometimes the seller might want a fast close. Sometimes the seller doesn't have their next step in the process and they need more time to find a place to buy. So it's knowing what the seller is looking for and having that conversation and then putting together an offer into what the seller wants will make you pop up out of the top of the pile, because you're going to address all their wants and needs. So that's number one. Number two, having a plan and team in place. And what I mean by this is you have to have a mortgage team. You have to have an attorney. You have to have all these people that can tell you what you can and you can't do so that you can put the best offer together. Your mortgage guy may be able to help you if there's a appraisal gap coverage problem. They might be able to refinance it so that it's built in to the mortgage so that it would cover the appraisal gap. That can happen. But you need to know by working with your team to be able to do those things. Step three, get your financing in order. I'm going to tell you, a pre-approval letter looks good, but a letter that's already gone through underwriting is better. And that means you can close. That means you can get the deal done. That means you're guaranteed to close, versus a pre-approval is like, yeah, we'll get it done, but we don't know. So that would be sufficient. Other things that you can offer to sweeten the deal is be willing to offer the seller a rent back situation and find out, and maybe you as the buyer would eat those costs on the rent back. So that would net the seller some more time and be able to, live possibly rent free a little bit till they find the next place. I mean, that can be done. But you're going to have to check with your lender and make sure that that's a possibility. You're probably going to have to, carry renter's insurance. Again, but if it gets you the deal amongst everybody else, that might be something that you're willing to do. Another big thing that you can do is waive contingencies. Now, I don't recommend it because contingencies protect the buyer, but you can waive some of the contingencies. So waiving an inspection might be something you might want to consider. I don't recommend it. I would just tell the sellers, we're going to do an inspection, but we're only doing it for informational purposes. So, we're not going to ask you for anything. And then if we do, it's going to be a maxed amount at like $500. So that puts the seller at rest that, you know, if there's any inspection issues, it's going to be either take it or leave it. We're going to go forward or not. And if there's some issues, we may ask for $500. So you could also waive an appraisal. It depends on how much money you're putting down, but sometimes that could be a possibility. Waiving the appraisal contingency may be something. Escalation clause, when you're dealing with a multiple offer situation, you might want to find out what's the max you're going to pay for the home. Put your offer in at what you think you should be putting it in, but add an escalation clause, and you know, we'll pay, you know, $1,000 above the highest and best offer, and add that into your, you know, the offer that you receive up to a certain amount. Now, you could remove that cap and go up highest and best and guarantee that you get the thing. But the problem is if you go way high, will it appraise out, and is there going to be an appraisal gap issue? So, love letters, you know, some people allow them in, some people put it into the contract. It can be a Fair Housing Act violation. So that's something to consider, because you don't want to get sued if you're a seller, and then you read a buyer's love letter and that changes things. So you got to be careful there. But these are some of the ways to get yourself at the top of the list to win the bid war. And there's some other tricks of the trade that I can tell you, but this conversation would be really, really long to go through. But making sure that you're with an excellent realtor that is experienced, that can go through this whole scenario with you, give you the right plan, will get you to that home closing table and get you sold into your new home. So thanks for watching. I appreciate you, and thanks again.